Okay, so maybe right now we are using a distributing storage. What is the distribution storage? Distribution storage means like data are not stored in the one computer. It will be distributed in the different computer, or we can say in the server. That is we call as a distribution format. Okay, one by one we are going. Okay, so which kind of distribution storage platform you have to the HDFS, in the Hadoop, after you have to the Amazon S3. Okay, so Amazon Web Services, right? So that kind of stuff we have AWS, right? So that is also we have data analysis. Right now you understand data we can able to store in your computer, in databases, and in your distribution storage, right? Right now what is the data analysis? Means processing the examining data to find a useful information. Means when you have the large quantity of data, when you are examining that, means when you are understanding that data and using that, which data is important for predict or something your business, means examination data. Are you getting or not? Means not raw data. When you are having a raw data, that raw data you are converting into the important data, which one important columns, important rows, or important documents you want, it's become as a predictable data. That is we call as a analysis. Okay, now after that example, analyzing sales data, finding which product sells most. Example, right? Again is what? Analyzing a social media data, so see the trending topic, right? YouTube's and this one, they are showing first trending topic. Why? Because they are analyzing the data. We have the algorithms are present, like a bubble merge, salt merge, link list, greedy algorithm, right? So this kind of stuff are present, isn't it or not? Okay, then after big data and the analysis difference is what? Traditional systems can't handle to the massive and fast growing data. So Hadoop store the data across the multiple computer and the analysis it in the parallelly. Means what exactly stuff this will have? Simple, you are storing using by one machine, and after later it will be distributing in the different machine. So in the future any one machine is going to be a spoil, still we can able to recover the data. Why? Because we are using HDFS using by Hadoop. What is that HDFS? HDFS full form is Hadoop File Distribution System. We are going to that. Step by step we are going. Now, next up over here, compare with the other systems. Because why we are learning? What is the need we need to understand to the Hadoop, right? Why we are not using MySQL? Why we are not using your MongoDB, right? Check it over here as a data size wise. If you are using to the RDBMS concept, means a relational database management system, where we can able to store into the GBs to few TB, means few terabyte. But if you are using Hadoop, handle to the TB to PD, means what? A petabyte of data you can able to store. That's why we are using Hadoop. Are you getting or not? Apart from that, a data types, means over here you are using in the structure format, means there we have the rows and columns. But when you are using Hadoop, you can use a structure also, semi-structure also, and the unstructured also. Understood? Now let's go to process. Processing to the speed, means as a speed wise, your RDBMS is the very slow with the huge of a large quantity of the data. So that exactly. Now what happened whenever the data is the processing, the thing is what? It is getting to you when we have a large quantity of data. The thing is what? Your data is moving very slowly. But if you have the Hadoop is present, then what happened? The design to large scale of parallel processing, means whenever you are storing data, it is processing fast also, but in the equal machine. Are you getting or not? Means it is storing in the one master machine. Master machine means what? A one computer made, and in at the same time, suppose we have to the 4 or 5 nodes are present, means different computer are present. Parallelly, it will be stored everywhere, in the same time. Understood? Okay, so that is exactly the stuff we have. Now cost wise, required the expensive with the servers, but work on the cheap community hardware. Over here, hardware is important, not your Hadoop. Are you getting or not? Okay. Now scalability limited and easy scalable by adding a more machines. You can add more machine. Then your computer will be a perfect. Not computer, not means basically your data will be storing to the faster and much better. Are you getting? So over here, that's why the hardware part is important. Now, after this one, we are going to be a RDBMS concept. Relational database management system means what? Okay, a data systems that store the data in the table format, means rows and columns, and use a SQL to the manage a data. Over here, we don't have the SQL command. SQL query means structure query language we are not using like we use inside of your MySQL, right? Because MySQL is the data. If you want to be a collect the data, if you want to put to the data in the table and format, that purpose we are using to the programming language that is called SQL. Over here we are not using programming language. We are directly opening to your command prompt, and over there we are writing to your commands, and that commands are directly interrelated to your hardware part. Understood? Okay. Now strength, good for the structured data purpose, supportive transaction, and the mutual technology. So limitation, not good for to the huge and unstructured data. Vertical scaling means no, it will be storing like a step by step. It is not the horizontal scaling. Okay, so that's why we are avoiding that, and can be become as a slow and the massive data. When we have to the huge and lot quantity of data, it will become as a slowly. That is your relational database. But this one I already declare in that table, right? Isn't it? Now, apart from this, grid computing is the part of your Hadoop. Grid means what? One by lot of computers, right? In the grid line, isn't it? So definition, a types of computing where many computers are connected and work together to solve a large problem. Right now, sir, which kind of large problem? I don't understand. Think about that. Maybe we have to the you know, YouTube lot of data, means you know, YouTube videos. Maybe we have to the 10,000 of YouTuber who are always uploading at a one day one video. Think about that. How much data is that? Right? So what happened? Simply that huge amount of data is coming to the my one database. I want something to the clustering type, or I want something to the grid type. Which one can divide my data separately in another computers different, right? So that is we called as a type of computing where the many computers are connected and the work together to the solve a large problem. Because if I have the one computer or one super machine, still it is hard to be store the data inside of it, right? So we have to the another that is called to the gridding system. Grid means what? It is to the store in the multiple computers. We call as a distribution also. Okay, so what is exactly distribution? There is what happening. Let me give you the key idea about that. Share the computing resources like a CPU, storage across the network. Are you getting or not? Means whatever, if suppose I am using one computer, whatever the resources I have, I am storing in the one main machine. 10 computers I have. In that 10 computers, I have to the different hardware part. Then what happened? It is all hardware part are combined together and work for to the one machine, which one we have to the one that main problem. That's why Hadoop is the much better. Okay. Now different from to the Hadoop. Why it's different from to the Hadoop? Because grid computing focus on to the sharing to the CPU and the power. Grading system are not for to the solve the Hadoop system problem. It is giving you, because it is just giving to the resources which one they have like a hardware parts. Okay. Now Hadoop focus on to the store and processing to the massive data. That is the difference between greedy not, sorry, we can say grid and your Hadoop. Now after this one, voluntary computing. Voluntary computing also are important. You know what is the voluntary means, suppose we are going outing somewhere, and I said that I want a volunteers who can handle to the another, right? So we can call as a voluntary means what, over here you can see